Hello, everybody. Welcome to Monday Night Live. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. All right. So, right on time today. I'm very excited to get to this work today. So those of you who tuned in last week, we were kind of getting down to the end of this piece here. We were at a point of trying to divide the layers and kind of create that 3-layer look of the girl and the kittens, her brother on the chair, and then the books in the background. And I didn't really get to a final state last week. We were at kind of a point of turning layers off and on to be until something kind of spoke to me. So I closed it down. And I was back and forth with it a couple times throughout the week, just trying to figure out what we wanted to do. And then I went back to it on the weekend, and I came up with this. And it is kind of a middle ground between the intense shadows and then that kind of sticker look, which I pulled back a little bit. Kind of if we zoom in here, you can see there's kind of a shadow in between the two harsh, broad lines, which kind of gives it that kind of little bit of a paper cutout look. Looking at it right now, I think we could probably see a little bit more separation between it's just in this section here, on the top of her hair, just really dark there, just to really show that there's a layer there. So I might add a shadow there. And then because I was struggling with this so much, I had done a shadow where that white line is around her feet and her hair and everything. I had done a very intense shadow there, but it was really thick and almost kind of the same thickness as what's in the objects themselves, around her hair and between the kittens and things. So I did think that was kind of flattening out the look. So that's why I went in with this tiny, tiny shadow, which I think is getting what I want. But I think looking at it on the screen up here, I want a little bit more of a dark shadow just between her hair and her brother, just to give that more depth. In order to see how it's going. And then when I was playing around in my head, just because I knew that this wasn't this is part of a card, this isn't the border and everything else, which we're going to be adding later. So I put in just this top layer here to give that depth and kind of give it a border, because that's how I envision treating them. I want the border of the card to sit on top and then everything else to go really deep. So I anticipate I put that there to see if it could help my brain picture the final a bit. So we still have quite a bit of lightness on the top and the bottom, but anytime I tried to fill that, it kind of really kind of knocked everything straight back just because it was so dark. So I'm leaving it for now. So I felt we were at a point where I think I just had to leave this card. I was just again, off and on with the layers and everything else, just kind of making a mess and just kind of not really getting anywhere. So what I wanted to do, I took a break and I immediately moved over to the next card. I was doing this during the Leafs game, and so it was stress illustration, and I wanted to just finish the whole card, which I didn't. So we're going to leave this one for now. I'm going to move on to the next card, which is in a similar style. It's also a black and white card. And then I'm hoping to get a third card with the color in place, maybe a fourth card, two full color cards and 2 black and white cards. And then I think we're going to work on the border and everything. So a little bit more time before we get to that. But I just wanted to show you where I ended up with this card before we move on. I think we're on the right track here. As I mentioned, there's one more shadow I'd like to put in, and I think we're almost there. But I'm really liking how this is coming together. I did a lot of reference research on paper cutout art. There's an artist whose name is completely escaping me right now, who does amazing paperwork, it's actual physical cutouts that he does, and layers it all and lights it up, and it's fantastic. So I was looking at his work quite a bit just to see how the shadows play on the paper, because I still like that kind of cutout look, but I also wanted to maintain the stained glass. I think I'm trying to do a lot in a very small space, but I think we're getting close to a really good approach here. We have Alessandra in the chat. Hello, and hello to the person who said hello with the happy hands. I'm so sorry. I cannot read the characters. That is your name. I'm so sorry. But I'm glad you're all here. Adobe's here as well. Hello, Adobe Live. So I'm going to go to our new card for today. So I wanted to do one in color, but I ended up picking a black and white card again. But that's okay. I want to kind of keep going with this while I have some momentum. So this card is our fortune teller card. She is the first. She is a 3 of Wands in a normal tarot deck, but it's a tent card in this case for the Night Circus inspired piece. You walk into her tent and it's full of candles, and instead of cards, she has silver stars that she reads. And then she has like a black veil over her face and is just kind of dressed in this great old-timey style. So I was drawing this on the weekend, and I had to like force myself to go to bed because I just wanted to keep going and going and going, because I have so many ideas for how I want to handle her final piece. We're gonna work on this layering first, but then at the end we're gonna be adding in. You walk into her tent through curtains of beads, so we're gonna add these guys over top. Afterwards we're going to colorize them and stuff, but I didn't want to work around these beads because I think that would take a long time. So what I want to do is do these last, because I want all of these shadows and everything to be really natural together. We're going to complete her piece as this, and then we're going to add the beads. We have the strings here. We're going to add those in afterwards over top with their own shadows, so that those shadows can interact underneath, and it's less kind of like trying to make a lot fit. I think it will be a lot more cohesive of a final design. So we won't see these beads for a while, but I wanted to show that is an added element that we're going to be trying in this one. We have Keys and Behance. Hello, Keys. Thanks for tuning in. So this is the line art. We broke this down into some stained glass and some is going to be kind of not broken down, just like we did on the other card. I tried to really build this up in a similar style to the other card. I used the same strokes. I'm going to make myself a sheet to make sure that I'm using the same brushes and same approach every time. I know I'm going to be using the same paper patterns, but I want to be using the same vector lines and everything so that the thicknesses of the lines are all kind of very similar. Trying to use the so the same weights and the shadows and everything like that. Keys, it's your first time on my stream? Oh, I must have been catching you on everybody else's stream. Well, thank you for tuning into my stream. I appreciate that. It's like I've definitely seen your name before, but it's been on other people's streams. That's what happened. So yeah, so I'm going to make myself like a big sheet, like kind of a style guide almost, to follow all through all these things, just so I don't have to keep going back and forth and kind of like, which stroke did I use? I followed the same process that we did for the kiddos with the kittens, and then started throwing in last night some of our colors. Now some of these I haven't done, we're going to do them today, but we have her hats all fleshed out. I really like this kind of scrappy look that came together, but still in a kind of classy way. Like it came together, like I used this pattern that we just turned on here. It's the same pattern as the rest of her shirt. If you can kind of tell, they're all kind of the same, like the fleur-de-lis situation. And they lined up pretty close, which is exciting. So it's kind of got a scrappy kind of look to it, because they have like this, it's just kind of the style I pictured in my head, but also it still kind of looks really classy and stuff. And I know it's going to really unify when we start putting the shadows in. Well, you've heard enough talking. We're 9 minutes in and I haven't drawn a darn thing. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to start filling in some more of these colors. You'll notice she has that veil over her face. I'm coloring it like it's not there right now. I have an idea for how I want to handle that later. But just like with the beads, I need everything underneath to be kind of fully fleshed out first. So we might not see what that looks like just yet, but we're going to see it down the road for sure. So I was picturing yesterday, I kind of want to do her hair using these patterns. One we've seen before, one I haven't used very often, which doesn't make sense to me, but I haven't used it, but we're going to use it today. So all of these, like you can see on the right now, there are colorized patterns, but I did what we did last time with the other card. I put a hue saturation layer on top. So that's like the second one from the top with the little square in it. And I took all of the color out of that layer and everything below it. So doing that really kind of guarantees, as long as all my layers that are interacting with these black and white sections are under that layer, then I am going to have this black and white guarantee. There's not going to be any color sneaking in. And I won't have like any like weird shadows or anything. It'll definitely be black and white. You look nice with glasses, Erin. Thanks, Alessandra. I think I haven't been wearing them lately. I usually wear them like all day at work, and I kind of just don't want to wear them when I get home. But I've also been looking at a lot of screens lately, so I gotta save these guys. I gotta protect my eyeballs. Okay. I'm also trying to, like I said, I like that patchy look with the two different patterns going through, just kind of giving that extra layer. Like even the red, it's a little more subtle, but there's definitely two paper patterns there. So I like just kind of the extra level of depth that gives these illustrations. But I was thinking yesterday, I kind of, unless I have a really big something that I'm going to be drawing, I'm probably going to try and just stick to two different patterns per section. Like, so her hair would only have two patterns. I don't want to get too busy or crazy or start muddying the look too much. So we'll see how that goes. Like I said, if there's a big something that needs to be covered in a certain color, we'll probably add 3 to it or something. Oh no, Alessandra had a vertigo episode with the heat. That sucks. It's been pretty muggy here too. It's not great. So yeah, and I know drawing is difficult. I had a migraine last weekend because we had really bad weather. And I really wanted to work on the tarot card, but I couldn't even, like, just the back and forth with the pen. I was like, nope, can't do it. I'll try and not zoom in and out too much for you, Alessandra. I don't want to add to the vertigo. And to maintain, like, again, that less busy look, I've been kind of having one paper pattern be kind of the dominant color, while the second one is just more of an accent. So we'll see how that works out. Rest is good. Everybody in the chat talking about how important rest is. It's hard. I have a hard time taking time off when I'm not feeling well. But then I think, what would I tell me if I went to work today? What would I tell my friends if they looked like me today? Yes, rest is important. So I was really excited about how this is coming together. Really, really excited. I have a lot of notes and everything ready to go for a card. But I was thinking, I knew this week I was going to be doing a new card because I knew we didn't really have enough in the last card to do a full live. Once I figured out the style, it was pretty much done. So I didn't want to just nitpick with you guys. So I knew we were doing a new card, but it took me a while to pick one to do next. But she spoke louder than the rest, so she got picked. Oops. Okay. Whoops. Fit those dishes in before the stream. Yeah, you're doing the dishes before the stream has reminded me to do my dishes before the stream. Because I don't want to do them after the stream. I just want to hang out with Mojo. I'm glad the dishes got done. That's good. Okay, so I'll do this last little bit here. Okay, so little background on the card. This, as I mentioned, this is a fortune teller. She is, there's a few levels to this character, to the situation actually, because what I'm drawing here is the description of the tent where she's at. But this character is actually kind of a big deal throughout the story. What happened? Why is that? What is that doing? Can't draw a hidden layer. How is it hidden? Oh, because the actual layer is hidden. That's why. Sorry. That's my bad. Okay, I couldn't remember what I was saying. So the characters, like herself, is actually kind of a big deal. But I'm just trying to portray what they described in the book for her tent itself. I'm trying, because this is inspired by a book, I really don't want to disrespect the author or anything by interpreting her characters in any certain way. So I'm trying to kind of keep faces out of it. That's why I was happy to see, like, I read that she had a veil here. So I'm really trying to keep faces out of it, so I'm not interpreting the characters incorrectly. And I'm not really practicing that kind of character design thing. Like, I'm not super confident that what I would draw in this card would translate to another one with this character in it. Like, it wouldn't necessarily look the same. So I just didn't want to get into that whole ball of wax. I wanted to just kind of be more about the mood or the essence or kind of the nature of the card or things like that instead. So that's another reason why I picked this one. I knew it was going to be an easy way to draw without a distinct face. Amazing Italian chicken noodle soup with chicken and veggies. That sounds amazing. Kind of sounds like Italian wedding soup, but with extra things in it. I had pasta and it was pretty good. I think I missed one of the ingredients or something because it's good, but it wasn't as amazing as I was hoping it would be. But it was still delicious. Pasta's always good. Looks great so far. Looks great indeed. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Just get some blocked out colors here. Maybe we can start some shadows in a minute. We'll see how it comes together. So this paper pattern I'm using for these sections is actually like a bunch of music notes and things. I haven't used it a lot in the past illustrations where we've used these paper patterns. I think it might just be because the pattern is just a little bit more spread out, like kind of airy. So we'll that's probably why I haven't used it for some things like the dragon or the sea creatures where the spaces are a lot smaller. I think it's going to really help it breathe here. My plate looks so clean. You don't have to wash it. Amazing. That would be perfect. Victor's here. Hi, Victor. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Where's everybody coming from? You know where Alessandra's coming from. Where's everybody watching from tonight? All right. What time zone are you from? I'm in EST. So I'm in Ontario, Canada right now. Australia would be nice though, but it's on the other side of the planet. It's a little too far for me, unfortunately. Okay, so her hair is kind of the same as her skin right now. It's tone-wise, but I think once we start tossing our shadows in, we'll be able to take care of that because they're each gonna be handled differently. So I'm just gonna leave that for now until, like, her skin was looking really dark yesterday, but I think I had this same vibe when we were doing the other card. And just, I have to wait till everything's kind of filled in because I'm not used to drawing in black and white. So it's weirding my brain out a little bit. EST peeps. Indeed. Okay, so now we're going to do the stars. And they're going to be, I picked lighter paper patterns for these ones because they're described as silver stars. So we're going to create a light color, but I'm going to try and give them kind of a special treatment as far as like maybe try and get like a shiny appearance or just kind of a different lighting on them maybe after to get that silver look. I'm also maybe not paper patterning the flames. I was thinking yesterday when I was working on this, I think I might be trying to do kind of an actual fire glow effect with those, but we're just gonna have to wait till we get there. I think it's a little too early to anticipate that. Oh yeah, you said nice something. I was confused. Yeah, for some reason, every time I log on to do this stream, my iPad goes to 9:41. Like, it's not going to change. It's going to be 9:41 for an hour here. I don't know why that is. I don't know why that happens. As soon as I unhook from the stream and stop streaming, it goes back to its normal time. So I really don't know why that is. No, just leave them alone, please. You're fine. They're putting the garbage away. It's nothing to do with you. Cranky pants. Actually, in interest of not zooming out too much, let's just do this one first. In real time, Keys, it's almost 7:30 here p.m. So I don't know what my phone is thinking here. Oh, it's underneath. Sweet. I don't have to be as careful. Okay. So see, I kind of like that like patchy look. That's giving that a lot of fun. Let's not make this harder on ourselves. So even though some of this is going to look a little patched together, I do have confidence that these blocks of color are going to come together when we start putting the shading and stuff on them, just like when we did the kids with the kittens. The kids had smaller sections of color except for her hair. So I'm a little unsure how that's going to come together, but that's what this experiment is for. No, just leave them alone, monsieur. You're okay. Don't bark. Alessandra has a sore head today. To be a nice boy. Kind of hard to see when we're this zoomed in, but this paper pattern has like little roses on it, which is super cute. When we zoom out, you'll see what I'm talking about. But for right now, we just got to fill in these spaces. And I was being like extra, I do want these to kind of stay within the lines as much as possible, but like because I'm picking patterns that are so similar, oops, the overlap isn't as much of an impact as it used to be. Like it was on like the dragon and all that kind of stuff is what I'm getting at here. Oh dear, no, I'm not good at time zones. So we've got 9:30 a.m. in Japan. Oof, 11:30. Nope, I'm not going to be able to guess. I'm so sorry. I want to say Europe, but I could be incorrect. My time zone knowledge is not primo awesome. What did I do here? Hide. There we go. Alessandra, help me out. Where's keys from? Oh no. Is that a letter I or a smaller L? Is it Ireland? Is it Iceland? If it's an L, I'm not going to be able to guess, I don't think. Okay, we want the other one to be dominant, so let's do this one. Oh, sweet. Ireland? Is it Ireland? Amazing. I would like to go there. I have friends who are in Scotland right now and they're sending some very beautiful photos. I'm aware they're not the same. Don't yell at me. I just know it's closer to you than Iceland. Cool. Iceland, that's amazing. I have never been there either. My cousins went. My cousin and my aunt went there recently. It sounds amazing. It's all on my list. I have this huge, long traveling list. Just need to sell 1 or 2 more bookmarks first, and then I can go. Okay. Okay, so I see a few people coming in. The usual spot tonight, we are in Adobe Fresco. We are working on a tarot deck. This is the second card of very many. But right now, the plan is to work through a couple cards, a couple suits worth of cards to kind of pin down a style. And then we're going to get into the border. Went under the blanket, buddy? Is that better? There we go. Right here, puppy. it. There we go. So we're pinning down a style, and then once we get there, we're going to put in a border and kind of maybe pick the numbering and text style and all that kind of stuff. But that's not going to be for some time yet. I really want to pin down the style first. Like I said, I would like 4 or 5. I was originally going to say 3. Hang on, screaming children in the hallway. That baby's having a bad week. She's super cranky. I was initially going to do 3 cards and then start doing that, but I think maybe 4, potentially 5 cards would be enough. And then we'll start pinning down that kind of thing. I just wanted to make sure that what I did matches the style. And I think after 4 or 5 cards, I'll see if I like the style. And then we'll start unifying them that way. And then I suspect it may kind of happen kind of like the stained glass illustrations and the Behance Beauties and all that kind of stuff, where the most challenging part will be the initial illustration and layout and plan of the story, and then we can the actual execution of the painting and all that kind of stuff will kind of become a little bit formulaic. So we'll see how many lives I do, because I don't want it to be boring for everybody, but it will help me kind of facilitate the process so that I can keep going as I get excited about each individual card. Because I got really excited about this one once I started going on it. Like I said, I had to like force myself to go to bed so that I didn't ruin my week. So having kind of like, I don't think like formula illustration is really great sometimes, but having a style to fall back on and work with really helps me kind of push the style of the illustration along a little bit, which is exciting. Okay, so we're gonna save this, make sure nothing's happening over here. Don't know what that means. Okay. Okie dokie. Okay, so now I think we're gonna do the pattern that I created for the candles, because it's going to give that kind of melty look, which is exciting. I'm going to definitely need a bigger brush. This is going to take forever. And like I said, I don't know what I'm going to do for the flames yet. We'll treat those a little bit later. Oh, still need a bigger brush. These are very large candles. So this pattern that I'm using, if you're new to the stream, is one I actually made myself when I was first learning fresco. I had been doing my paper pattern illustrations already in Photoshop and in Illustrator, and then so I knew I wanted to make some of my own patterns. So when I was working with some of like the live brushes, like the oil painting brushes and all that kind of stuff, I really wanted to kind of really see what they could do. So I created a couple patterns for myself, just to give me, like, when I knew stained glass was something I wanted to pursue as a kind of potential style. I wanted to create some of these kind of a little bit more flowy patterns. that can help that along. Because like some of the glass sometimes has that kind of swirly effect. So I created this in fresco, and I've been using it as a texture to support the stained glass here and there. And I think it's going to be perfect for the candles. This woman you're drawing, she's like a sorceress. She's actually a fortune teller. So she's in one of the tents in the circus, and she reads a fortune, but instead of reading cards or having a magic ball, crystal ball is what I'm looking for. Magic ball. Crystal ball. She reads these silver stars. So that's what's happening here. So she's reading our future on this card. She's reading our fates. So that's why she looks just kind of like a mysterious lady. Just chilling in her fancy clothes, but full of knowledge. I would have gone full crazy fortune teller. The book doesn't describe how a lot of what she's wearing other than like the veil, but knowing this character, I feel like she'd be a little bit more on the conservative side. I don't think she'd have like the big bandana or anything like that. I would like to explore more of that style. I have a fortune teller I did early in the Behance Beauties days, so that's 2021. And she's actually, I think, the cover on my Behance profile. So I'd actually like to revisit that now that I know my style a little bit better. Kind of like to revisit her a little bit more, because she's a little bit more of what you think with a fortune teller, with a scarf and the crystal ball and everything like that. Oops. So I'm not sure how much shading we're going to get done today. Probably just laying this out, and then I'll make some progress. Whoops, not what I wanted to do. If I can throughout the week. Now, trying to think of the candles, because he says very interesting, kind of like Victorian top hat, Caribbean a bit in a way it is loose. Yeah, it's super cool. I like that interpretation, because I was picturing kind of like an English lady, but I like that kind of Caribbean approach too. I like how that kind of happened. The book that is inspiring this is called The Night Circus. The author is Erin Morgenstern. And her name in the book is Isabel Martin. Isabel Martin. I'm like, I think we know what her last name is. So she's the fortune teller in the circus, and she plays a few different roles. We're going to see her throughout this deck, or again, inspired. Like I said, I'm trying not to like take over the author's vision here, but the book just inspires so many different ideas in my head, so she's helping push this along. Okay, I'm trying to think if all the candles should be like that, because we're gonna have, maybe what I'll do is I'll do this first. So I used this big pattern here in the background of the, whoops, of the children, and I think it's a really good one that I could use as a background kind of consistently. Oh, why is this sad boy? So I'm going to apply this very loosely back here. I just don't know if we want... We're going to save is what we're going to do. What name are you going to give to this character? Oh, I'm not sure yet. Let's see what she wants to be. Okay, so on the children's, see how we did kind of the background was really dark and there's just kind of hints of the stuff that's on the shelf. I want the same idea, but I also kind of want the candles to peek through. I kind of like the texture that's on the candles. So, oh, for what you just saw, everybody, that's the style that we're going for. That's the other card. Hey, Odari. Welcome to the stream. Welcome, Odari and family, it sounds like. Sorry. Thanks for tuning in. Key says the interpretation is mostly because fortune tellers in European carnivals mostly wear a shawl like a turban. Yeah, no, I agree. Most of my fortune tellers, like the fortune teller that I also drew a few years ago, she's got like kind of a big scarf and kind of all those like beads and all that, like big shawls and things. But just this character herself doesn't really... Biodari doesn't really give me the vibe that would be her kind of style and energy. So I think that this is kind of, she's a little bit more put together. Okay, so I think we're going to use the same pattern in the background, but I'm wondering if I could maybe do, instead of a full brush, let's do a 50%. Is that actually working that way? Not really, eh? On a mask? No. Okay. Okay. Maybe what I'll do... Is that going to do a thing? So if I reveal... I was kind of hoping at like 50% it would kind of... It doesn't really work that way on a mask, does it? I was kind of hoping to be like a see-through part of the mask. So what I'm thinking I'll do is if we reveal this much like this, roughly, and if I add a layer here, which is a multiply, and then we do a big brush, I think that's still going to give us the effect we want. Yes? Okay, cool. So we will proceed with what we were doing. It's going to look weird right now, but when we add the shadows in, we'll be fine. We're putting a lot of pressure on these shadows, man. I hope that we actually can execute all right, because I'm putting a lot of pressure on these poor shadows. But I really want to create like a large level of depth in these cards. Like I want it to be looking into windows like really deep. That's why I was so worried about the layering last week. Sorry, my leg's falling asleep. There we go. Oh, except for a 7-pound dog, he's pretty heavy. I just really want it to be like looking in, like almost like a diorama almost. I want people really looking in on what's going on here. So I don't want to put too much detail on these candles, but I want the effect to be there. I still want them to be pretty clear that they're candles. Let's put this back to where I want it. No, that's not what I want. I want this. There we go. And if you're really strategic with your layers, you don't have to worry about being too fancy with every side because some stuff's in behind the other things. Making the live stream less dull. Did anybody do anything for free comic book day, Star Wars day, however you celebrate on May the 4th? We had free comic book day here. Mostly for the kiddos, but we all participate. My friends' kiddos went and we were there for support, and we went for food and beer afterwards. It was a good time. It was a pretty nice day, actually. Oh my goodness. 7:46. How did this happen? Again, not being too precious with the flame spaces just yet because I don't know how we're handling them. Just want to make sure that there's some room for them. So I'm working on this illustration. I'm going to have them be a card size that's about, this is a tarot card here. So it's going to be about like this when it's done. But, which is about 2 3/4 by 3.5, something like that. But because I really want to get the story across with these illustrations, I'm not drawing them at that size. These are a 6x9. You want down, bug? Or you want to come sit with us? There's my Joe. You sleepy guy. He's been lazy bone since I got home. So it's a 6x9 at 300 DPI. So it gives me room to kind of really do this focus. If I was drawing this at 2x3, I wouldn't be able to get all these little candles and stuff in here. So I really wanted to get the effect across. So it's a lot bigger than the final print if I ever get that far. And I just say that because, not because I'm not confident that I can finish this project. It's just more that printing card decks is very expensive and not one thing that you can just do like one of. Like a lot of them are like, print 100 decks of cards. I'm like, well, I don't want 100. I want one. Eastern Orthodox Easter this weekend. That's cool. We had our Easter many weeks ago. It was back at the end of March. It was really early this year. That's super cool. Love here. That's what I really like about the live streams. Everybody's from all over and I get to hear about really cool things and celebrations everybody's doing. So fun. I'm glad Free Comic Book Day was last weekend, so I don't have to compete for my friends' attention when it's my market this weekend. Oh my goodness. This time next week, I'm going to be done my market. That makes no sense. That is crazy. Okay, so let's save this. And then I wanted to pick the tablecloth. And I can't remember which one I wanted to use. I want to use this crazy one, but I think we're asking a lot of... We're putting in a lot of patterns here. They will kind of mellow out. No, Mojo, we be quiet, boy. Come here, please, right now. On your bed. I know there's a blanket there. You be nice. Come here. Come here, Timmy. Timmy. Leave them alone. Okay, we're almost done, buddy. Just hang on. Oh, now I can't remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, all the patterns. There's a lot happening right now. How is that happening? Oh, I know why that's happening. But once we start getting the shadows and all that kind of stuff in there, it should quiet down a little bit. Because we'll be putting in dark shadows and all that kind of stuff. Ah, poo. This one? Oh, enough, you. Sorry, I'm just trying to pick which pattern I want. I feel like I have a lot of words, so I feel like I kind of don't want that one. I use that for... Yeah, it's too much, I think. What if we just use this one? Okay, that's enough, you. He's switching back and forward. I have family to observe that custom. That's cool. The dog doesn't really want out. He wants to go outside at some point, but he's barking because people are existing in the hallway. And they don't have his permission. He just wants everybody to go away. Now, I think, oh, these are different. Sweet. For some reason, I thought this was the same pattern as on the stars, but it is not. Perfect. Oh, for Pete's sake. Okay, awesome. So in the description of the room, I was a little bummed to see no crystal ball because I think there's so much potential with a cool crystal ball and put it in there. So that's what these little kind of like ball, like this little ball is under the candle. It's my way of adding it in without it being in. Oops. Now that's a dog that wants his me space. You hit the nail right on the head, Keys. He is very, I will come to you when I feel like it. Like I'll read about dogs, like I watch training videos and stuff like that, all that kind of stuff, and be like, are you worried about your dog jumping on other dogs or jumping up on people? I'm like, I'm like glad I don't have that problem, but no, I absolutely do not have that problem. Mojo doesn't want to go near anybody. Mojo's good. He is a tired guy, but he's good. He's excited because my sister's gonna come visit soon and they're best friends, so he's very excited. Okay, let's get our brush under control here because it's too big for the space, but I just keep like not adjusting it. There we go. I have a family that is Catholic, so it's a mixed situation. That's pretty cool. As long as everybody's open to everybody's business, then that's super cool, because I think there's lots of opportunity to learn a lot of cool different customs and events and all that kind of jazz. That's super cool. Oops. Okay, we're almost done here. We'll see where we go. I'm trying to do a lot with this card, but coming to the style that we did on the last one, I'm feeling really confident that it could come together really nicely, so we will see. Oops. Adobe Express is coming to Boston, and you got invited to go? That's amazing. I would love to figure out some more Adobe Express, kind of how illustrators and stuff could use it. I've been experimenting, but I would love to know more about it. That is super cool. Good for you. And then I want, I think this one. Oops. Not that one, silly. No, definitely. You got to go to something like that. That's amazing. Good for you, because, yeah, I'd probably hit that RSVP pretty hard too. I'm already there. That is super cool. Good for you. All these exciting, fun things. Yeah, get everything ironed up, get those business cards sorted. All that fun madness. Good for you. That's so exciting. Make all the connections. I love it. Okay. Whew. Okay. Our card is pretty much blocked out. We have so much further to go. But we've got it all colored out now. The next step is going to be kind of blocking things out, putting in the big shadows. I'm going to see, now that we have some color in here, I think I kind of want to put in kind of those outlines that we did last time first, just so I can keep them in mind a little bit more when I'm building this. But I'm going to run some experiments. So I'm going to see if I'm have some time this week to work on this a little bit further, but we will be working on this again next week. I might not have enough time this week because my market is on Saturday. So we'll see what prep time leads into for that. But regardless, we'll be back with this lovely lady next week. We'll be getting into some shadows. We'll be kind of starting to build up that kind of layering and that depth to the card. So yeah, so that's going to be what we're going to do next week. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in tonight. I had a lot of fun. Thank you to Alessandra, to Keys, to everybody else who was in, Odari earlier, everybody from all over the planet, Victor, everybody, and then Isatomi, is that how I pronounce it? Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. This really is a highlight to the start of my week. I really enjoy it. I am trying to ponder how to get more live streams into a week. I just don't want to overlap other people, and I want to make sure that I have good content each time, so we will see how it goes. For right now, still Mondays, 7 Eastern time. Same channels, same place, all that fun business. I hope you all have a fabulous week. And I will catch you all this time on next Monday. I hope you have a great time. Oh, anybody who wants to shop online, anybody of the bookmarks or anything that we were drawing earlier in the year or last year, feel free to go to my website. It's hues-tones.square.site. There should be a link in, actually I have to check and make sure my description works. Is there more? Yeah, all my shop and everything is in the links below. So check it out. I can ship things out in the mail. Or if you're local into where I am, then you can come pick everything up and we can meet in person on Saturday. I hope you have an amazing week, guys. Again, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will be back with this lovely lady next week.